Hi, everybody, and thank you for taking some time out of your day to dive into all things Blumira and chat a little bit about the product. I'm really excited to share what's new and to highlight. So yeah, got three presenters here today. So first off, if you all haven't met me before, or if you haven't seen me on a webinar, Michael Kellar, I'm the VP of Product here at Blumira. I joined in November. So whatever, this is month five-ish. Startup life is wild and crazy, but it's been awesome so far. Obviously, you've got Amanda and Eric, hopefully, who you both know and love, and they'll be chatting with us in a moment. If you keep going. So first up, I'll be talking a little bit about what's coming from Blumira in the product, starting with obviously today threat response and a little of those focus areas. Amanda will dive into the actual launch itself, and then Eric's going to share a little bit of a customer success story, which we're really excited to talk about what's coming here and what's coming soon. First up, threat response. I really want to highlight this, not just to say like, hey, we're launching something new and hopefully exciting and fascinating, but also that this is a continued focus area for Blumira throughout the year, certainly throughout the next few months. When you're thinking about threat response and how to kind of stay secure while you sleep, that's something that we're thinking a lot about and are trying to build out powerful features that make a difference, that you can trust, and that'll make your life a little bit easier. If you're using Blumira, how can we make it so that you can respond to a threat right as it occurs? We're handling that ingestion, that detection, and we want to handle that response. We want to do it in a way that means you don't have to go to four different places to feel confident that your environment is more secure. So threat response is really a focus for us right now. It's something that we're continuing to think about. We've heard from a lot of customers about what we can do there, and we're excited to launch today and kind of build this as a trend for us. As you've heard, we're building out an API. This is kind of the first time we're touching this part of the platform and making something, I think, truly configurable that you can utilize in different ways, and hopefully some ways we really haven't thought about and even don't expect. Making your data available how you want it on demand. So whenever if you're thinking about that, if you've seen it, if you have feedback, something we're thinking about and looking forward to, especially in Q2. And then the last piece that I really want to hit on in terms of that kind of forward-looking, what to expect from us, is if you're coming into Blumira, how do we make the information you need instantaneously accessible? What do you need to know in order to go through an investigation, to deal with an emerging threat, to learn about something in your environment that you have a question on? Make that really powerful, accessible, and as quickly as possible. So that's something we're thinking a lot about. These are also areas where I think, and Amanda, if you wouldn't mind, go to the next slide. And so, if I've got, one quick ask and, just taking a couple of minutes here to talk about what's come, we're thinking about compliance. So, it's a compliance form. That's where a lot of our customers start from. A lot of you all have started from. So if you've got a compliance problem, we'd love to hear about that. If you have a limited amount of time to spend on security, if there's something where you're getting stuck or a problem you're running into, whether that's in Blumira or anywhere else in your stack, we'd love to know about that. We're looking to make your life easier, and so the better we can do it, that's fantastic. And anything in general, when you're providing feedback, when you're talking to us about what matters, that's awesome. So we really very much appreciate that.
So we did get a couple, the first one being asking, when will we be able to build our own queries?
Yes. So I assume you mean in relation to detections, though admittedly could be a variable term. So if you mean in terms of investigations, obviously we're pretty flexible in that scenario. So I'd be curious to follow up. But if you mean in terms of detections, today we do it kind of in a managed way. So you reach out to us. The support team is very receptive, and we have a really great IDE team that handles kind of how do we take that detection and make it accessible. That is something we're looking at for later in the year, is like how do we make that easier for you to customize yourself and more accessible. So it's something we're thinking about. I don't have an immediate answer in terms of timing or what we're thinking about there, but it's on the list of basically discovery topics for us right now. And until then, I do encourage anyone who has a detection request to reach out to the support team. And that is something that we do on a case-by-case basis.
And then we have a couple of additional questions, kind of more generally on the service. First one, someone who's new to Blumira asking if you can talk about the difference between app.blumira.com and Cloud Connect.
Amanda, you want to take this one?
Sure. So app.blumira.com is where you actually access Blumira when you want to go and do any investigations, set up reports for any setup. The cloud connectors are actually inside the application themselves, and that is the piece of the application that connects and pulls logs in. So it's this API to API connection that we have with a bunch of different integrations. I'll show you one, for example, when we walk through the 365 setup, but you set up some API keys and some secrets, and depending on the vendor, you input those in, and the cloud connector just pulls your data into our cloud and goes through all of the detections and stores your data for however long you need it to be stored for.
Excellent. And I think our last incoming question for right now, and again, folks, we don't get to get all the questions as we go. We are holding time to go through them at the end, is asking if there's going to be a timeline for a centralized dashboard when managing multiple sub-accounts.
Yeah, so I think for people who are working across multiple sub-accounts for different use cases, making one central place for that information, we've kind of started that journey where you can see kind of lists of findings and things like that. Investigations, we're thinking about that starting point. So one way we're thinking about that is obviously depending on where you're living and making that accessible through integrations or through an API. But the other way is making that dashboard itself more accessible and functional. So I think that's the perfect kind of feedback we're looking for here when we ask, and something we're looking at for later in the year. So we'll chat more at the end. But with that, Amanda, I will hand it over to you.
All right, sounds good. So we're going to go over a little bit of our Microsoft 365 threat response that we are releasing. It was actually generally available yesterday, and you'll see more information, emails, blog posts, stuff like that come out over the next week. And of course, our official announcement is kind of today when we're going through it over the webinar. So what are we building? Our initial release is all about 365 threat response. What's nice with what we're currently building is it gives us the ability to add other threat response related things, either more things inside Microsoft, things outside of Microsoft, at a faster rate. So we have a nice basis set right now. And right now we're enabling you to manually respond to threats inside of Blumira. So this will reach out to your, whatever you want to call it today, Microsoft 365, Azure, Entra, the Microsoft Cloud auth stuff. And that can be taken in response to something bad happening and you getting a finding about it. And why are we building it? So from a threat response perspective, doing anything with incident response, most times the user account is the primary vector. That's why we went with this disable user revoke sessions action that I'm going to show you here in a little bit. And a lot of the feedback that we get, comes from all of you, is that customers really wanted the ability to respond to those threats without having to exit the Blumira application, log in, do two-factor auth, get to the right portal in Azure, disable, revoke, reset passwords, like all of the different things that you have to do in an incident response. It would just be easier if we could just reach out and help you do that inside of the application. So that's what we're starting to build now. And it really just accelerates the the speed at which you can remediate whatever threat that is. So this is how it works. First, you get the Blumira detection. A lot of you, I'm assuming, have seen that in the application. We call them findings. Our IDE team creates these great detections. When something bad happens, it will trigger a finding and an alert is generated. So whatever way you end up getting alerts, whether it's email, SMS, call, whatever, you get that alert that something bad has happened. You can then, when you're looking at all of the evidence around that potentially bad thing happening, you can just click a button and disable that account and revoke all of the sessions. And then that threat, at least the initial attack vector of the authentication has been contained, while you can continue to look and see what other things you may have to remediate. And I'm going to show you a little demo. Of course, I'm not super big on live demos because they always go wrong. And I recorded this like 4 times. So we'll go through all of this. So this is our platform for those of you who haven't seen it. Right up top, you can get to the cloud connectors you have, or it's underneath settings. And we have this nice little threat response preview option on here now. That preview obviously is going away here soon. And right in there, it takes you the directions on how to actually set up this response connector. So this is on our public support site, and you can go in here and just kind of walk through, like I think this video is 7 minutes, so it doesn't take super long to set up. You go into your Azure portal, you get to Entra in some way or another. And then underneath app registrations, if you're sending us logs through this way, you'll already have an app registration in here. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. We have a ton of them, right? Because this is our lab. So I'm going to click on the one that I want to work on. So it's this Mando Dev org. You always need the client ID and the tenant ID. So we're going to copy and paste those in. And then we're going to create another secret. So we currently have, well, we're going to change permissions first. So to do what we need to do for response, we need more permissions, right? Because initially we only needed read because we're only getting your logs. Now we need read write because we're actually reaching out and doing the disabling and revoking those tokens. So we need to add group read write, directory read write, and user read write.
Love a good tour of Microsoft permissions. You just, I mean, thank you. I
I'm
mean,
in
it
this
is
all-
like it's like, I mean, it's worth like it's a refresher. It changes over time. It's always good to see it.
I'm sure everybody's had to go through this multiple times.
And if you're not using a Microsoft product and you're thinking, okay, what am I looking at? Because you're using something that's cool and easy. Well,
Well, what are you
it's an
missing?
opportunity.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to add the another secret here. So we had one earlier for the connection secret for ingesting logs, and then this is going to be our response secret that we copy and paste in here. And then we hit connect. And ta-da, that's all saved. And now we can trigger response actions. So if you go and look underneath your detection rules, you can actually filter by which ones support response actions. We're up to 42 now, even though this says 35. This wasn't all the way caught up when I recorded. And there's actually in our documentation, if you scroll all the way down, there's a link that will let you walk through and test some of the response actions. So if you really want to see what it looks like and trigger a detection to make this work, I'll show you what that looks like too. So this one, you can tell I don't really check this email very often. We're going to go and create a mailbox rule. And we see this all the time with business email compromise is, people just exfiltrating email, trying to send out fake invoices, get wire transfers, that kind of stuff. And then they forward it elsewhere or put it in RSS feed, or there's a whole bunch of different things that they do. But yeah, we'll forward this to an external email address. Maybe. Yeah, there. And so I'm doing this from my, I think it's just a Berlin account in Azure. And I'll show you what that looks like to fail the first time, because I thought it was important to kind of point out we won't lock out global admins. It's something that we don't want. We always want to make response useful and not harmful. And we want to make it so you don't have to necessarily think about all of those things when you're actually running these actions. So right here, you see that external forwarding redirect is here. And then we're going to try and disable this user and revoke the sessions. And sure, I'm sure. And no. So it says it's a global admin, so it's going to stop any response actions, just in case you were worried about accidentally locking out any of your actual admin accounts. So I'm going to log out and I'll log in with my Amanda test account, and I'll show you what it actually looks like when it works. Another email address that I don't use. There's like Amanda test 1 through 10 probably.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a good rule of thumb is you want to have like 15 or so different test email accounts. That way you can kind of like talk to yourself when you're thinking about something. It's like talking to ChatGPT or something as a test scenario. It's like I need some proof points, some responsive, and gives you a play.
Yeah. And then you also, have users to password spray against when you're testing that too. But this is a nice, easy one if you want to trigger a detection using 365, because this generates logs fairly quickly. Microsoft isn't great about always sending logs fast. Sometimes I've seen them take 20 minutes or so. But these usually come in within a couple minutes, if that.
Always like a good wire transfer, threat. Just
Yep.
it's a good one. I mean, it only happens occasionally.
All right, so we get our new threat actor rule. Oh, Andrew, for some reason these logs come in faster. I don't know why, but I can always test this and make sure it triggers soon. So I'm not really sure how they prioritize them. So yeah, I'm gonna lock out Amanda test, and then it was disabled, and all their sessions are revoked. And then I'm gonna try and go back into this mail account and look at my inbox. And there we go. I took all my sessions away. So that's pretty much it for the demo. If you have any questions, I mean, keep them coming, but I won't.
Boy, howdy, do we have questions. So the first one that came in is if this is included in SIM Plus licensing or if it's an add-on.
I'll let you take that, Michael.
Yeah. So I love a question where I get to just say yes. The answer is yes. This is included in SIM Plus and XDR licensing. I believe, unless I'm mistaken, it actually is accessible and you could go play with it right now if you wanted to. So go ahead, turn it on. That's the benefit of being here is we haven't done all the marketing yet, but it is live. You can use it today. So yes, for SIM Plus and XDR, go ahead and let us know what you think.
And then we got a couple of similarly worded questions about the ability to revoke sessions but not disable the account. The context shared on one of these was that they may want to force the user to MFA as opposed to disabling. As an example, a police officer account being disabled can have bad ramifications.
Yes, definitely. That's on our the first bullet point you see here, additional 365 actions. We just wanted to get this initial one out there, right? So it's doing the bulk thing that a lot of people do. Separating those things out are on the roadmap to do, as well as things like resetting passwords, changing different policies, removing the rules. Like I have that inbox rule, removing that. There's a lot of different 365 specific things that we want to add in there, and that's definitely one of them.
Excellent. And then asking if there are planned changes regarding global admin accounts. I said, ideally, you could specify a break glass account to be exempt from auto remediation, allow it on all other global admins as those accounts have the most potential for damage.
Yes, fantastic question, because yes, that's not something we couldn't offer filters right now for response, and I didn't want to have anybody accidentally lock out their own, the wrong global admin. But yes, ideally we would handle it like we do detections, where you can add a filter and lock out things around that filter and have that kind of stop you. So yeah, for sure.
Additionally, any plans to allow sending a webhook action that they might be able to use in their SOAR tool?
We have been looking at that for sure. I know Michael mentioned having the API in beta right now. Building that API, a lot of the groundwork had to be done for a webhook anyways. So it's definitely something that we're looking into, but we don't really have any specific dates on yet. Now it's your turn, Eric.
Thanks, Zoe. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, so today I wanted to highlight a case study from a current XDR customer of ours, Republic Electric Company, Midwest HVAC and electrical distributor. And I actually believe we have someone from Republic in the chat now. So shout out to Republic. Thanks for joining us today. So Republic's small IT team of two needed to strengthen their security posture as well as meet PCI compliance requirements. So the problem yeah, this is great. The problem they were facing was their traditional antivirus and security software weren't generating many alerts, leaving them unsure if they were working effectively or not. After an internal assessment confirmed their security gaps, they searched for an affordable SIM to secure their M365 environment. Now we can jump it, Amanda. Thank you. The Republic's team began using Blumira's free SIM and started receiving valuable alerts while cutting down on noise with our detection filters. With Blumira's detections, they also uncovered suspicious PowerShell activity, providing further insights they previously lacked. And after a year of working on the free SIM, Republic upgraded to Blumira's SIM Plus XDR with 24/7 SecOps support. This gave them even greater visibility and protection across all their servers and endpoints. The team quickly deployed and integrated XDR into their daily operations without adding any staff, completing the process in just 2 days. And to sum up Republic's experience in their own words, Blumira has definitely helped me answer the question if we've been compromised or not. In the past, I had to say I didn't think so. Now I feel more confident in my answer of no. And yeah, I believe, Andy, I believe you're in the chat. So hopefully I didn't butcher your quote there at all. I'm sure you could say it a little bit better than me. But this is just one of the many customer success stories we have here at Blumira. I want to use this as a springboard to invite anybody to participate in a case study with us. This is a great opportunity to share your experience with Blumira and gain additional visibility in your industry as well. So the process is totally painless, just a 25-minute call with me or someone on the product marketing team just to hear about what you're working on. And my contact is here, or you can raise your hand in the chat as well, whatever works for you. Thanks so much.
I wanted to say too, if you're curious or interested, maybe we could also do a webinar with you if you want to chat with a couple hundred people. Next time we're talking about a case study, it could be you. It could have been you, Andy, though we hadn't thought about this before. So definitely an idea going forward is if you'd like to be live in one of these conversations or in a smaller session or in just a recorded way, we'd love to do that as well. So just to add to the flag. But
absolutely. We're a fun group to hang out with. We don't bite, don't worry. Okay, so we've got a bunch of questions here running the gamut from the threat response topics that we've been talking about today to kind of general functionality and feature expansion in the future. First question, update on MSP integrations and the ability to turn on and off by client.
I did send a message directly to that person that asked, because I have you on my list to call anyways.
Oh, okay, great.
I have lots of questions for you.
And a follow-up one on filter generations prior to findings. Did you grab that one too?
Yeah, I have a not timed update on that one, but that one I'm currently heavily in discovery on right now. I've talked to some of our engineers about the possibility of it, and there's a couple blockers that we have. But that's my hope. I've been able to see how a couple good examples of how it's done. So just keep an eye out. I just don't know when.
I'm gonna skip down to one of the later questions because this is an interesting one, especially for you, Amanda. How do you guys deal with false positives and potentially blocking an account that is not compromised?
Oh, like disabling one that's not compromised?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So the several clicks that you have to take right now. It's something that when we do discovery on more automation that we're going to have to massively think about. because we want to make it less painful for you, not more. So right now, when you disable an account and you have to click on it twice and you have to click on confirm, it says right there exactly who you're disabling. If it's not um, uh, a malicious account or something bad that's happening, you actually just have to go in and re-enable it in 365 right now. We don't really have an undo button yet. But that's something that we've had a lot of requests for, so I've been keeping track of that. And what else was I going to say on that? I'd love to have all thoughts on automation, because that is a scary topic. You don't want to, like you said, disable the wrong thing at the wrong time. We want to make it, I think somebody said in the chat, I don't like using the term, but idiot proof. My word.
Reframe maybe trustworthy is what we're really going
Trustworthy.
for. So that's why one of the reasons we're starting with make it possible for you to take, automate the action for you versus completely automate the action entirely. But first, we're going to make it a lot easier for you to take that action, and then we're going to think about how we could take that action for you entirely. But we'll keep moving it forward.
Yes, for sure.
And then next up, we've got, how about the ability to create a dashboard viewer user that's excluded from MFA and timeout for use on SOC displays, preferably that could auto-rotate through clients. This attendee uses OptiSign and said it's a pain to record macros for each of their clients and having to re-record when the user's password expires.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to write that down. That's the first I've heard of something like that, but I could definitely see it being useful in like some kind of like, security team, SOC team, IT team, like room. Like I know I've worked on SOCs before where you have like, the giant pew pew maps of, things going back and forth. So I could see where that would be really super helpful. Any more information you can give me on that, it would be great. I know I didn't put my email address on the slides, but it was in the demo. So aberlin@blumira.com, or we have what's the URL? Blumira.com/ideas. If you could,
Yeah, blumira.com/ideas if you want to go direct and share feedback there is definitely always appreciated.
yep.
How does this impact a hybrid Active Directory and 365 setup?
Great question. That was one that we put in our FAQ as well, because one, it depends on how you have your sync set up. Right? A lot of people have it so your AD on-prem takes is primary, right, and syncs up to the cloud. So however often that sync is, that would totally re-enable the account, but it would still have the sessions that have been revoked. What one of our IDE incident detection engineers is looking into currently is the ability to do both. So it would disable and revoke sessions in the cloud, but then also disable on-prem. For that, you would need our Blumira agent on the domain controller, though. But that is something that definitely came up because we know a lot of people do have hybrid environments.
And on the topic of Microsoft, is Blumira a Microsoft security partner?
We are in the Microsoft marketplace, but if you mean in terms of like they have a couple of programs, I don't believe we're part of the active programs yet, but we are essentially like, obviously directly connected and always having good conversations with the team over there.
I'm certified. That counts.
We're big fans. We're big fans.
And will this send the action info to the PSA?
Not yet.
Okay. That was a quick one. Are 365 actions available for the free SIM version?
Yeah. So for customers today, SIM Plus and XDR, it is available. It is not available for free SIM. It is also not available for our SIM starter customers. That is just based off of what those plans are really best suited for, and certainly what we're able to do for those customers. But if you're curious, obviously please reach out, talk to the sales team, and we're happy to see what options might be available to you.
One positive though, because we have these new response actions, we will be coming out with more detections for that tier. So just because the detections come out that we're working on that use the response actions, you will still get the detections when they come out.
We got a question that may be for our sales team to follow up with, asking about if there is pricing for nonprofit organizations. So we can grab your email and follow up with you. Any plans to allow us to adjust the timeout values for sessions? They're having to re-auth a lot and it's slowing them down.
I assume that means logging into our app, not Microsoft.
Yeah, we did recently make a quick update to this, but I'm guessing if they're still running to the issue, it's still a little bit too slow or too frequent. Certainly, we're trying to keep it secure. That's one of the reasons that we do have kind of tight controls around this. But if you've got something specific that you're running into, reach out to us. We're always trying to make it better. I don't know, Amanda, if you have anything else on that one.
And then is Autotask PSA getting an integration?
I would say additional PSA integrations are definitely on our discovery viewpoint. Obviously, we came up with ConnectWise last month, give or take. It's again been a couple months, but right now we're focused on the API. Certainly, making your data more accessible is top of mind from an MSP perspective.
Excellent. And do you know if you have detections for new IPs added to a domain?
We have new computers added, I think. I don't know. I can look and follow up if are we able to follow up by just knowing what their chat is?
Yeah, no, I'm making note for folks that we have a direct follow-up with
Okay.
so that we are able to do that with them. While we still have questions coming in, just a couple of pieces of feedback and notes that I'm seeing in the chat and don't want anyone to miss. It would be nice to include a button to initiate password reset for the user, and also an "Are you sure" option to override and disable a global admin if you really need to. Maybe a fail-safe to not do it if it's the only admin in the tenant.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
also, okay.
I was gonna say again, thank you for the feedback. That's what we're looking for. So we're excited that you're excited and you're thinking about how we can keep making it better. Certainly, this is the start, not the stop. And then I also did want to catch one other question in the chat. When I was mentioning ConnectWise, that was just the integration that we launched last month with ConnectWise. There should be a couple pieces of documentation around that. But if you have any questions, please reach out and let us know. But yeah, that was just our first direct integration into ConnectWise.
Excellent. Let me see. I think that is all. We did get some folks saying that they are really interested in automation and they want to see 1 a.m. account automated lockouts. Sign me up for that beta. Love to see it. Somebody's saying that they've been investigating a ransomware operation after an attack on one of their clients and that they believe they found some new IOCs that aren't published, asking how they can share those and get it added into their Blumira instance.
Definitely open a support ticket. I'm sure anybody in our IDE team would be really super interested in that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, please reach out. And I did see one other question about best place to see updates when we're making releases. I did want to know, we'd obviously send out emails, and then we also do have a release notes blog, I believe that should be available to everybody. I don't know if anyone remembers offhand what the link, the URL is for that.
We have monthly
I'll grab
product
them.
ones, and then we also have one that's under just for detections.
And I can add that we also have a monthly collection of product and detection updates included in our newsletter that will link to a write-up with details and get a quick summary by moi in our little newsletter video that we do. No plans to bring threat response actions to M365 only editions of Blumira. We got in the chat there.
Yeah, not at this time. Again, we're always evolving how we're thinking about the platform, but at this time it's for SIM Plus and XDR only. That's
Absolutely. Thank you to everyone who shared feedback today, who had great questions for us. Definitely, we are continuing to solicit feedback on these things, so it is great to hear from you. We hope to see you on another Blumira session again in the future. To our presenters, any last thoughts that you want to leave folks with as we wrap up for today?
I'll just go ahead.
I wasn't prepared for that question.
I will just say thank you all for the time. We know you're busy. We know you've got a lot going on. It really is appreciated that you're chatting with us, that you're giving us your feedback. We're going to build a great product together. We're really excited to have you along for the journey.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day, all.